everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish. Welcome or welcome back to the channel, and on today's video I am back with my July TBR, but also the return of the new and updated My Heroic TBR game. For those of you that are new to the channel, I created this game back in about 2 years ago now. This is my game, just TBR game. It is very loosely inspired by the game that Bookrose set up for her TBR avatar and is based off of My Hero Academia. So there are little challenges and little categories and little trials and things that are related to the My Hero Academia world. And essentially, you don't have to be a fan of My Hero Academia to watch these videos. You don't have to know anything about. I don't include spoilers in these. And yeah, I just thought it's a nice fun little way to play up my TBR every month. And I completed the board back in April, so I decided to take May off. And then in June, I decided to run my own readathon, so I decided to take the next month off as well, but it's given me 2 months to think about it, go over everything, and I have made a few changes. The biggest changes that I've made are to how I have categorised my genres. The second thing that I've done is I've changed a few of the symbols on the board and their meanings, mostly because I lost the original list and I forgot what most of these meant. Cleverly, like super smart of me. But I just wanted to go through with you guys. So I'm going to go through all the changes and then we'll go into July's TBR. So if all you care about is the TBR and you're not really bothered by the changes, skip ahead. If you are here and interested in what's coming up and what's changed, then keep watching. So the biggest change is going to be the categories. Originally I categorised everything by genre. So I had like fantasy, I had graphic novels and manga, I had contemporary, romance, things like that. Now I've separated them into things that are more about specific things to clear off my shelves, and also to try and utilise areas in my reading that I tend to forget, things like ARCs, ebooks, audiobooks, things like that. So I've just changed things up a little bit. And these are the cards that I draw from. These are my prompts that I use every month if I don't have to pick something from the board. And we've got various things like we have events that happen throughout that I've tried to keep non-spoilery. We have characters, we have places, we have people. And there are 6 categories in all. And so the categories are as follows. Class 1A are going to be graphic novel and manga. UA staff are going to be adult books. UA students are going to be YA and middle grade. Blank is the same as it was before. Those are wildcards. I can pick any book as long as it fits. Villains is top shelf, which means the top shelf of my bookcase, my TBR case, which are the books that are on like my self-destruct list, books that are on various challenges that I want to get done through the year and various reading vlogs that I want to do, as well as my series and single standalone books that I need to complete. And finally, we have Pro Heroes, which is going to be queer books, because I've now labelled all of my queer books and I have quite a lot, and I figured it would be nice to make those their own category. So those are going to be my new categories, and basically when I draw a prompt at the bottom of the card, it tells me what the category is. So you can see here, Battle Against All for One, a major war or battle is an E, so that would be an event, which means I would need to read an ebook, because that was the 6th and final category that I forgot to tell you. Ingenium is a pro hero, so a book featuring robots, androids, cyborgs and AI. If I can find a queer book that features all of those, then I would basically, if I read it, I would earn an extra point and an extra step to go forward on the board in the following month. I've changed what some of the symbols mean on the board as well, mostly because I lost the original list and forgot what some of these were. But essentially, when we start on the board, we start here with the Welcome to the Hero exam. We've got these little stars that are scattered across the board. I've added a few more in just to liven the board up. When I land on those, I have to roll this dice, which is my D4. And there are 4 things on here that if I land on, I have to pick from that. If I roll a 1, I have to read a book that was gifted to me by somebody. If I roll a 2, I've got to read an audiobook or listen to an audiobook. If I roll a 3, I've got to read something from Scribd, because I forget to make the most of my Scribd subscription. And if I roll a 4, I have to choose an ARC. So that's usually where I go to my pile of books or my NetGalley. So then we have the first line at the end, Lemillion, which is to read a book that has sold over 1,000 copies. I have expanded this to also include series because of the books I own, not many have sold over 1,000,000 copies, whereas series have. Then we have All Might, so if I land on him, I get to jump straight ahead to the end of the board and win. And I'll talk about what I can win at the end. We then have 1A, which is a random number generator, because when the kids start in their class, they all get assigned a rank based on their performance in the entrance exams, and so I thought that'd be cool to do that as a random number generator. Then we have this really terrible drawing of Izuku Midoriya, and that is to read a book featuring the Chosen One trope, as he is the Chosen One. Then we have our first Go to Hell. This is the Go to Hell jar. Pretty sure I might have already mentioned, but just in case I haven't, basically all the books that I am scared to read, intimidated by, for some reason have been putting off for too long, they've been written down, they've been put in here, I will randomly draw and I have to read it. Otherwise the next month I have to draw an extra book. We have this one here, which is Sero, who in class 1A, he basically can just create tape from his arms, and he has super long tape that can extend super far. So I figured have him be the longest book on my TBR. Then we have our first like snakes and ladders-esque type situation. So we have USJ, which is the Battle of the USJ. On these ones, I don't have to read anything for them. I just have to follow what the board says. We have a couple more Bakugos in there. Then we have this one, which is a little portal. And if I land on this one, I get to go ahead to this part of the board. If I land on this one, I have to go back down to this part of the board. We have the school sports festival where I've come in last place, so I have to just go back. Then we hop across and we first of all have another star, we have another Bakugo, then we have Todoroki, which again, terrible drawing, I need to update this. So for Todoroki, we're going back to our D4 and we roll the dice, and because he's hot and cold, I decided to do it that if I land on an even number, I've got to read a book that I'm hyped for. If I roll an odd number, I've got to read a book that I'm not so sure about and not looking forward to. Then I get my hero license, so I can go ahead. Then we have Mineta, who is the shortest book on my TBR, to go with Sero, who was the longest book on my shelves. Next up we have the Big Three, so at UA High, the top 3 students in their final year are called the Big Three. I have to choose 3 books. I might pick it based on the theme, I might just pick 3 random books, and then I have to run a poll so you guys decide which of the 3 I read. Another Bakugo, then it's I failed my exam, so I have to go back. A couple more stars. Then we have Plus Ultra, which basically means give it your all, give it everything you've got, and that is to read the book that is rated highest on my Goodreads shelves. And quite often I've noticed that the highest rated books on my Goodreads shelves also tend to be the chunkiest books I own, so I'm definitely going to be giving Plus Ultra for that. More Bakugo, another Class 1A for the random number pick, another Portal, and then finally we end with All for One. So basically, if I land on him, I have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I've literally put him 2 spots away from the end. So you can imagine I got very sweaty and panicky when I landed last time here, and I was like, if I roll a 2, I'm gonna cry. But I didn't, and it all worked out. It was great. When I complete the board, I choose from these little cards. I only have a few for now. I'm still trying to think of a few ideas, so if you guys can think of anything, let me know. But I've got a Litchfield library trip. Litchfield is the city next to me. I actually work there currently, and it just means that I go over to the library because it's a much bigger, much better selection of books than my library does have. So I just get to go over, and they have a Waterstones in Litchfield, which ultimately means I'll probably end up going to Waterstones. I have a day in bed reading and relaxing and chilling and doing whatever I like. We have a cafe. We have the lake, which is the lake just by my house. This is what I won last time. I still haven't gone because every time I think there's a day where it's not too hot or too cold, it starts raining. So I haven't yet done that. And then there should be a final one, which is a Waterstones trip specifically to Birmingham, or a Forbidden Planet trip, but I've lost that one. Editing Kirsty. I have added a few more rewards for myself for this. So we now have a Forbidden Planet trip, we have Waterstones trip, World of Books haul, so WOB haul. We have charity shop, sort of adventures, so go into town and do a charity shop haul. And then the final one is gift a friend, so I will pick one of my friends from my friend list and choose them and gift them a random little gift. So not only am I treating myself, but I have the occasions where I will treat you guys. And I might do it that I pick 2 rewards at the end of the board rather than just 1 to make it extra special. So those are the things. As for the rules, basically every month I roll 6 rolls. Every book I complete, I get to move an extra step forward the following month. Every book I don't complete, I have to take a step back. And then there's other bonuses as well. For every 3 books I complete, I can choose 1 less book the following month. So basically, if I read all 6 of my books, then the following month I could choose to only roll 4 times if I wanted, and if I wanted to give myself more mood reading, so I would only need to roll 4 rolls instead of 6. But then for every 3 I don't complete, I have to add an extra roll. So if I don't complete any of my 6 books, the following month I have to have 8 books, and then I won't have any space for mood reading unless I have one of my tokens saved for that I accrued in a previous month. So I might just save those when I'm having a bit of a bad mental health month. And then the final rule about the game, before I promise we'll go on to my actual TBR for July, is that I'm allowed to, after I've drawn all my prompts, if there is one that I'm really not feeling and really don't want to do, or at that moment I don't own a book that fits it, I can just redraw it. It's fine. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go on to record the actual picks for the month, and we're going to go to the game, and then you'll come back to my face that is getting progressively more red as I get hotter, but we'll come back and I will talk you through what my picks are for next month. So let's go to the board. Okay, here we go. Here's the board. We have our dice ready, we have our prompts ready, we have our jar ready. Let's go. Roll number 1. Is also a 1. Great start. So we are starting with a blank. That is going to be, aptly, the entrance exam, starting with the first book in a series, which is great when I'm trying to finish series. Roll number 2. 6. We also have another blank, and we have manga, read a manga. Oh, that's good, because I have an upcoming video that's going to require me reading a lot of manga. So that's a good result. Roll number 3 is a 7. Ooh, and we have our number generator. So I will have to get that up and sort that in a minute. Number 4. 7. Ooh, got to roll a d4. So let's go. That is a 2. And on my list, a 2 is an audiobook. So got to read an audiobook. Roll number 5. It's an 8. Landed on a blank. And we have Kamui Woods, forest or woodland setting, or a forest or woodland word in the title. I've decided, as this is the first one back, I'm just going to do all 8 rolls as rolls, because I've done a couple of months of mood readings and I want to get it back into TBRs, so we will do 8 rolls. For roll number 6 we have, ooh, top of the shop, 12, which is a blank. And we have La Brava, a romance or book featuring one of your 1 true pairings. Oh, I'm liking these picks. Roll number 7 we have, oh, flip. No. We have a Jar of Doom. Final roll, we have a 10. So we have a final blank, and that is Eri, a middle grade, or the MC is a child. Hello, welcome back. Whew, I'm pretty warm now, but I have all of my books. I have my books, so let's go through them, shall we? First up we have the entrance exam, first book in a series, and for Ren's Queer or Not book club. We are reading 16 Souls, I think. I'm 99% certain that's what we're reading. So I'm doing a reread of 16 Souls by Rosie Talbot, and I'll be annotating it this time because I loved this book. I have raved about this book so much. In my Book of the Year showdown last year, it came in second, and we follow Charlie, who is a seer and sees ghosts, and there's something happening with all the ghosts in York where a load of them have gone missing, and now he needs to team up with another seer to try and figure out what is going on. There is so much disability rep in here, there is a lot of LGBT rep, there's just all of the rep, and it is a delightful book, as well as being very dark. And but if you like ghosty books, if you like whodunits and mysteries, this is your jam. Then we have manga, which is to read a manga. I'm not going to reveal what manga I've chosen because it's for a reading project that I want to do, and I don't really want to announce what it is. I want it to be fun. I'm also still procuring the books for it, so I don't want to say, but I do have a manga that I will be reading and possibly not talking about just yet, but I will be reading. 3 was a number generator. You will see here that I did a random number generator. I just chose 200 as an obscure number because I was like, I don't really know how many books I have on my physical TBR. So I just went with 200, and it turns out I have 100 exactly on my TBR. So I ended up cycling through the shelves twice, and on the second run through I stopped on Graceling by Christine Shaw. As you can see, I've already started it. I am about 60 pages in, not even 60 pages in. So I will just aim to finish this off, and this follows Katza, who is a Graceling. She has 2 different coloured eyes, which means that she has abilities, and her ability is to kill, only she doesn't want to kill anymore, and just starts a bit of a revolution from what it sounds like. So I was enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to reading. Then it was I landed on the star, so I had to roll a d4, which is an audiobook, and for this I've chosen to finish a series, and I'm going to be finishing The Greatcoats by Sebastian de Castell. So I bought a physical copy of Tyrant's Throne because I want to annotate as I listen. And as always, Joe Jameson is just going to be incredible, and the narration is going to be fantastic. This book is going to break me. It's probably going to take me the whole month to listen to it, but I am also going to be annotating it at the same time, and I'm very excited. Not going to say anything about this one because it's the final book, but please read this series. It is so good. Number 5, Kamui Woods. So to read a book with a forest setting or foresty word in the title, and with the bonus with this being a pro hero is a queer book. So we've gone with The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder, which is a queer Sleeping Beauty / Red Riding Hood retelling, Snow White retelling from what I understand, and it's like gender bent and queer, and it just has lots of stuff in here. And the whole thing of this is that they have to go through a perilous journey to the Forest of Thorns. Perfect. And it matches my hair, look. Me and the book match. Next up we have Le Bravo, which is to read a romance or any of your OTPs. And I have a few OTPs and I have quite a few romances upstairs. But for Charlotte's Dark Shades of Magic read along in July, we'll be reading A Gathering of Shadows, and this series features not 1 but 2 of my OTPs. Not going to say who because if you haven't read the series I don't want to spoil you, but there are 2 of my all-time OTPs in here, so I figured that would be the perfect fit. And if you are taking part in the read along, or if you haven't yet, there's still time, please join us. We're reading all 3 of the Dark Shades of Magic books in time for September so that we can all read the Fragile Threads of Power, which is the follow-up series, and it's going to be so good. I'm so excited. Then we have Go to Hell, so we're going to draw that here and now. So we have all of the books that I am scared to read or don't want to read for whatever reason. Please be kind. I'll show you guys first, if it will, because normally it doesn't like it when I do this. Is that going to show you guys at all? Probably not. And that is Red Hood by Elena K. Arnold. I actually did start this about 2 months ago. I started the audiobook and was really shocked by how it started, and I only got the first chapter done, so I will take that as a sign to continue. And then finally we pulled Eri, which was because, as I said, I decided to do 8 pulls this month just to get back in the habit of doing them. And we pulled Eri, so a middle grade or the main child as a character. I've gone for the only middle grade that I own. So this is my final middle grade because I've decided that middle grades are not for me, so I am moving on from them. But we have Furthermore by Tahira Muffy, and basically this is a world brimming with colour and magic. Alice's pale skin and milk white hair mark her as an outcast. And Alice is determined to prove her magical abilities and solve the mystery of her father's disappearance. But she has to travel to this mysterious world and find him, and she's not sure if she'll make the journey back. And it does look really lovely and it looks cute, and I love the cover. I just think it's such an adorable, beautifully done cover, and look at the little fox. So I am looking forward to this one. I have struggled with middle grade, so we'll see how I get on. So those are my picks for July. We have quite the stack, but for me, I feel like this is actually doable, especially as 2 of these are rereads and one of them is an audiobook by a narrator that I absolutely love, so I tend to just listen to like 3-4 hour chunks at a time with that one. So I feel really good about it. And the board threw some really fun stuff at me this month. Some months it gets really boring and I just get blanks and I just get prompt cards for the whole month. This time it gave me quite a variety. So it's great for those of you that are new because, you know, you get an exciting first look at how the game works. I also have a couple more, one more group read because I don't think I know yet what Chelsea Zhao's reading group is doing for the Patreon. I'm not sure what we're doing for that. And for the Last to Read book club, we are doing Dark Fae, which I didn't realise until after I voted for it that it was part of the Zodiac Academy series that I've got no interest in. But we shall see how it goes. And apparently it's like a 5-man why choose scenario, and I'm like, could be good. Let's see how it goes. So, anyway, I'm going to go. Let me know in the comments, as I said, if you've got any interesting books that you are looking forward to. And I hope you all have a great reading month for July. So I'll speak to you all soon. I hope you're good. I hope you're staying safe. And until next time,